Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Off the Rails. So who's ready to see how many licks it'll take to get the center of a rage-induced aneurysm? That's what I thought, so let's get started. In 1993, two French musicians, whose names I couldn't pronounce if you put a gun to my head, started an electronic rock band that pretty much revolutionized what's now known as French house music. These two musicians are now popularly known as Daft Punk. Now, given to their style of music, part of their onstage performance, and a lot of their promotional photos had them dressed up as robots. Helmets, robot-looking clothing, that kind of thing. Faces were never really shown too much. I think even to this day their faces are rarely shown outside some artwork. But to add to their robot appearance, they also used a type of vocal enhancing software known as Autotune. There, I said it. Now you know what I'm talking about. Once again, nothing against Daft Punk at all. I have a couple of their albums, their older stuff, and I like the fact that they used Autotune to work on their personas, because that's who they were. They were robots. Hell, one of their first tracks was called Robot Rock. There you go, right there. Now, over the years, other bands jumped on the Autotune bandwagon, like Eiffel 65. I mean, come on, I'm Blue, give me a break. That's pure Autotune, and some of their other stuff, too. Nowadays, Autotune is a dime a dozen. And it's not the good kind of dime a dozen. So, before you guys start saying, oh, well, you know, the Boogie Knight is a music snob, he doesn't like this, he can't do this, he's not up with the times. No, I get it. As an amateur musician, first of all, I am not a music snob. I listen to all sorts of genres of music, from rock to alternative to some pop to electronica to heavy metal to blues to southern rock to a little bit of country, the whole 9 yards across the board, and most subgenres in between. So that's not the thing. Nor do I have any kind of diss against vocal enhancements. I mean, you have Peter Frampton, who uses a talk box, which is very popular in Do You Feel Like We Do, vocoders, and that sort of thing. And as an amateur musician, I have no problem doing some minor vocal effects that will enhance the product you're trying to convey. It makes perfect sense. You want to make it the best possible song that you can write. And you do some extra things every now and then, that's fine. I'm cool with it. I'm talking about the musicians that use it for every single song that they write. And the worst part is, in this day and age, Autotune is becoming so popular that these artists are using it like it's the hottest thing since the invention of Nutella. It's not something that I think should be overblown, but it is, and that's all we hear on modern pop radio nowadays. And I noticed that there are two groups of musicians that use Autotune, almost exclusively. Musicians who can actually sing, and musicians who can't sing to save their lives. So I'm going to tap into both of those markets right now. So, first of all, once again, the lesser of the two offensive mutants, people who can sing, they don't need it. And if you want to throw in some Autotune a little bit here and there, that's cool. But if you're going to use your entire songs with Autotune just because it's the easy way out, or maybe you had the wrong kind of breakfast and your voice is feeling sloppy, that's one thing. But don't do it all the time. It makes you sound like an amateur artist and somebody who's just trying to take the easy way out to score a quick buck. I believe nowadays that's known as selling out. If you can sing, you don't need Autotune. You really don't. I don't care if you think you're just having a bad day or you're just feeling low on this totem pole. You don't need it. Your voice is like water touching silver, and Autotune just makes it sound like piss touching shit. Congratulations, you are lazy. Second group, once again, people who cannot sing to save their life. And, okay, yeah, I get it. When you're trying to take off, you're trying to get some releases out there. Doesn't matter what your genre is, if you're using Autotune right out of the gate, maybe you ought to consider something like vocal lessons, even the basics. There are books and DVDs out there on how to work on your vocal cords. And even if you don't want to buy the book or the DVD, go to YouTube. I can guarantee you professional singers and vocal coaches can give you guided lessons on how to actually hit and sustain a note. And what's worse, as the musicians are getting more and more popular because of the invention of this piece of crap, they are using Autotune exclusively because that's who they are now and that's what they're famous for. Here's the thing. If you're raking in the big bucks as being a sellout musician, singer who only uses Autotune, like you, Kesha, you can afford vocal lessons. You don't need to sound like a robot just to try and make money, okay? Use the money and do it for something productive. There's a reason pop and music critics are wincing at all these people using Autotune, not just in the pop industry. Let's look at the rap industry for a second. Flo Rida, God, don't even get me started on him. If you want a good critique on any of Flo Rida stuff, just go look up Todd of the Shadows or anything like that, or Rap Critic. Or Pitbull, who uses Autotune to some degree. I know he can't sing, nor can he rap, but if you're a rapper, focus on the rapping. Don't focus on using Autotune to try and act like you can sing. I am sorry. If you can't sing, that's your problem, and work on fixing it as opposed to masking it. I love the fact that years ago Jay-Z did a song called DOA, Death of Autotune. He even goes so far out of his way in the beginning to sing very off-key to make fun of it. Now, mind you, of course, DOA doesn't really go into Autotune all that much outside the chorus, but the title still stands. And I'm sorry, once again, there are ways to correct your pitch and vocal sustainability. I mean, I read several different vocal coach books, and when I go into the recording studio, I limit my diet, my alcohol intake. I don't smoke. Well, I don't smoke anymore to begin with, but that's beside the point. There are ways to make sure your voice stays healthy. How would you use them instead of relying on this cheap piece of crap way to get out of it? And if you can sing, why do you care? Why rely on these pieces of technology, a vocal Skynet, to try and make a quick buck? You're working with, you're working it for fan service, but the people who actually want to take their music seriously, like my friends and myself, we're laughing, we're groaning, or both. Quite possibly both. Daft Punk, I don't even think Daft Punk uses Autotune anymore. I heard some of their newer stuff, they just sound like a talentless version of Earth, Wind, and Fire. Sorry guys, you jumped on the sellout bandwagon, didn't you? I miss Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, One More Time, Digital Love, Robot Rock, Technologic. That was cool, and that worked with your persona. I never thought I would say this, but get back on that bus, please. So, that's what I got to rant about tonight, folks. I've got another Sonic Boogie reviews coming up on Wednesday, hopefully. And once again, for music people, I'm not a music snob. I listen to a wide variety of things, but this is something that's getting drilled into my ears and pretty much just makes me have a chronic headache at the pure thought of it. Use it in small doses, but the fact that you're on an Autotune binge, like you're overdrawn at the meth clinic, that really shows about how much talent you actually have, or lack thereof. So on that note, have a good night. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.